But I do think, again, Shane Steichen's one of the best offensive minds in the game. Anthony Richardson, again, has some throws that will just make you go, oh, my gosh, that's incredible. And they're going to miss him in some ways, but what they miss him in some ways, they're going to make up with Flacco being a better pure pocket passer. And now they're just going to have to package it that way. Like, yeah, he's not going to run with the read option, but we could still run the ball, RPO, and maybe now have more of an intricate play action pass game because of him, and we trust him more in the pocket to make those decisions. So that'd be cool to see what happens going forward.
Next up for the Colts, they're at Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence. We'll talk about him just a little bit later on. And the Steelers on Sunday Night Football taking on the Dallas Cowboys.
That'll be a good one. I'm excited for that. I definitely am. I think I give the edge to the Steelers there, but not by a lot. And the other thing, too, I think the last thing I was going to say, what was I going to say? The Steelers had some mental mistakes in the game. They definitely messed a few things.
All right, well, I want to talk about the Colts. I want to highlight what he said about Shane Steichen being a top offensive mind and what they're going to be able to gain with Joe Flacco versus Anthony Richardson. I talked about this in a previous video, and a lot of people seem to get upset because I said that the Colts are going to look instantly better with Joe Flacco, and that was Shane Steichen with a true seasoned veteran can have really quick success because he's that great of an offensive mind. And a lot of people got upset about that because they were like, no, Anthony Richardson needs to be developed, blah, 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 blah. He's not going to learn sitting on the bench, yada, yada, yada. And the problem is Anthony Richardson is so inaccurate. He's not going to learn how to suddenly be accurate by being in the game. That's not how accuracy works. You're either accurate or you're not. And if you need to work on it because of some sort of thing with footwork or mechanics, it's not really what you're going to gain in the game, right? And the Colts can actually get to work. You need proof of that? Just go look and see what Kirk Cousins just did with the Atlanta Falcons, okay, on Thursday Night Football, throwing for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, okay? That's what a pocket passer can do, all right? That's what a pocket passer can do, and especially with a pretty good offensive coordinator that the Falcons have. So this is what the Colts will be able to do with the Flacco. This is what happens when you have a quarterback who you can trust in the pocket, who can throw accurately, who can make the right decisions, who can go through his progressions, who has good timing and anticipation, right? That's what the Colts will be able to do with Joe Flacco. I understand in the ultimate long term, you want Anthony Richardson to be the play. 1, he may not be. And 2, he's certainly not ready right now, okay? And people say, well, he's got to learn, he's got to develop. When he's been playing awful, okay? He's at 50% completion percentage right now. I understand fans are saying, hey, well, he's got to get out there, he's got to learn. But it just destroys the team. Other players don't want to play and just say, well, hey, he's got to get comfortable, he's got to grow, he's got to learn. Players don't want that. The defense doesn't want that. The coaching staff doesn't want that. The O-line doesn't want that. The wide receivers don't want that. Okay? You risk having a mutiny. You risk having the locker room just say, enough of this. That becomes the fundamental problem. So again, I'm not saying that you just move on from Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying that Anthony Richardson can't develop into becoming a great quarterback. But what I'm telling you right now is that Anthony Richardson is not even a good quarterback right now. That's just the reality. And that with Flacco right now, you absolutely can legitimately win. You really can. We've seen this again and again and again just this season alone. That when you put a quarterback with an actual offensive mind, they can get to work, and they can get to work very quickly. We've seen it with Derek Carr. We've seen it with Sam Darnold. We've seen it with Kirk Cousins. We've seen it with Baker Mayfield. And I believe in Shane Steichen. Make no mistake about it. Top offensive mind in the entire NFL. You give him a quarterback who can do the job, who can just execute the offense as understood, it's going to look significantly better. And I gave you the numbers before. I mean, they were like 30-some%. I won't be able to find it fast enough right now on third down conversions. And then as soon as Flacco came in there, they jumped to second in the league. I mean, it's just night and day. It really, really is. I take so many notes, man. I will not be able to find it. Oh, of course, it was the very last page in all of this. I mean, it was third down conversion rate with Anthony Richardson is 32%. Bottom of the league. With Flacco, it jumped up to 53.3%. Second in the league. Okay? I mean, those things matter. I understand. Like, you want Anthony Richardson to work. I understand when you see some of his highs, you're like, oh my God, that's incredible. But his lows are really, really, really bad. And those lows don't necessarily get better with playing more games. They would if the team was awful. They would if he had a really bad head coach. And now he has to go to a different head coach, right? Justin Fields going from the Bears to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not the case here. Shane Steichen is putting Anthony Richardson in a position to succeed. Look no further than the instant success that Flacco had. And Flacco will continue to have that success. Now, it's frustrating because now Taylor's injured, the high ankle sprain, going against the Jags. I have no idea who's going to play. It seems like it's questionable for Anthony Richardson. I personally hope Flacco gets to play again so you can continue to see what Flacco will be able to do with the Colts. Because with Flacco, this team is a playoff team. They can legitimately win some games and get into the playoffs. They almost got into the playoffs with Minshew. Okay? And that was also Shane Steichen's first year as a head coach, which also matters because he's kind of figuring it all out as well. As great of a mind as he is, there's still a lot a lot more extra responsibility that he was getting accustomed to, and also having to deal with an injured quarterback and then Minshew and figuring that all out. Flacco, seasoned, experienced veteran, can get the job done. You can trust him, understands it all, has been around the block not once, not twice, but like 1,000 times. So the rate of success you're going to have is going to be very quick and pretty high. So I don't think Colts fans should push back on this. I got a lot of pushback in the previous video. Don't push back on it. You should get excited about it. Get excited. You can actually win consistently with Joe Flacco. That is exciting to me. That is exciting to me. I want to see the Colts win. I don't want to see the Colts have a moment where you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. And another moment where you're like, oh my God, what was that? Because, the Falcons had that in years past. And it wasn't so good. And now they got Kirk Cousins, who's a lot less flashy, but then just led the Bucs to back-to-back game-winning, a game-tying drive with 1 second left, and then a overtime touchdown drive. Kirk Cousins now has 3 game-winning drives this season alone, and has more game-winning drives in the last few years than Patrick Mahomes by a lot. I think he's got 15 game-winning drives, and the next closest person to Kirk is 4 less than that. So I understand everybody loves the young, hotshot, flashy quarterbacks, right? They're obsessed with it. They love the Jaden Daniels, the Anthony Richardsons, the Caleb Williams, the Kyler Murrays, Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allen, Lamar. I get it. I really, really do. But make no mistake about it. Your team can be great. Your team can be elite with a traditional pocket passer, especially with a great pocket passer. So I'm excited to see this unfold. I'm not abandoning Anthony Richardson. I'm not saying that they should just bench him and move on like the Panthers are doing with Bryce Young. Although another great example, look at Andy Dalton versus Bryce Young. The Panthers immediately look better. Andy Dalton is immediately playing better. Those things matter. Those things truly do matter. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Shane Steichen and the Colts with Joe Flacco versus Anthony Richardson? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.